The airplane approaches the airport in a controlled fashion. If we just go back a few days to the terrible images from Kazakhstan instead, we'll remember that the airplane was bouncing all over. Here it's nice and straight and level. So the pilots are clearly in control of the airplane, which again begs the question, why did they not lower the flaps? Why did they not lower the landing gear? In general, if the approach is stable and flat, which is what we see in the images, the accidents are survivable. Usually, however, they are prepared. For instance, emergency services will be standing by, they will lay foam on the runway, they will do all sorts of things. We don't see that in these pictures, which leads us to imagine that the landing was, let's say, rushed perhaps, that there was not much time from the emergency to the decision to land. At the global level, there is an accepted, standard, well-defined and well-proven procedure to investigate accidents. It's very detailed, very effective. And here I have a standard checklist of all the actions to do. But right now, we're on page 4. We will know when we reach page 30. So we will have an answer. It may not be as fast as the media want. But fortunately, in this tragedy, it is in an airfield that's not over the sea. It's in a, let's say, Western country, so it will be transparent, and we will have an answer. It may not. Airports, like airplanes, are designed with safety in mind. There are very strict parameters to keep the area free of obstacles. So there shouldn't be anything within a certain distance of the runway. But if the airplane skids off and hits something normally out of reach, that's entirely possible.
For the pilot, we normally receive the recurrent training and proficiency check every 6 months. The proficiency check is to check on your ability to salvage a situation of an engine failure, which is the early part of the scenario. And then we do a recurrent training where we practice on multiple complex failures similar to this scenario. So yes, we do have a fairly rigorous training around the world. But as a pilot, in those type of scenarios, it's very time constraint, as you could imagine. So in their minds, a lot going on, and of course they're trying to achieve a smoother touchdown, as we saw from the video. And I must say the pilots did a great job over the initial touchdown. It was smooth. There's no particularly loud impact that contributed to immediate fire at all. So the touchdown was fine, but then of course it wasn't enough to slow down the airplane, and then it ultimately impacted the wall. There could be 2 scenarios. One is a direct impact when the landing gears were down initially, and it could have directly impacted the landing gears with the mechanical structure suffering from the damage. It could have impacted the landing gear doors. It could have jammed the landing gear doors as well initially, so it couldn't extend the landing gear. It can also have impacted the engine, which also damaged the hydraulic power generation. Mind you, the landing gear is fairly heavy in itself, so it relies on the hydraulic power to extend the landing gear. It could have impacted electrical wires, again contributed to the difficulty in extending landing gear.